What follows in this video is an excerpt from my science fiction novel entitled The Snapdragon Code by Jude Duperret-Duville, now offered on Amazon Books. Please enjoy. It was now Guy Worthy's opportunity to ask Evey about Rothmann.
So Evey, I hear you're the woman of the hour. Tom here tells me that you had the very unusual privilege of meeting Stan Rothmann last weekend. Is that true?
Evey, kind of dreading the question, knew it was a necessary evil in her quest to obtain Guy's help for Adam's reference source.
Luckily, she was relieved for the short term when Guy says, "Do you mind if we sit down together after Tom and I get back from our hike? Tom promises we'll be back by 3 o'clock or 3:30 this afternoon, and maybe you can tell me a little bit about what went on at the lodge last week. I just have a few questions, because I'm interested in the man. Then you can ask me that favor that Tom says you need."
Guy explains while looking back at Tom as though the two had already talked this over.
"That would work for me," Evey says and then adds, "Would you two take Adam along with you this afternoon? We ladyfolk are planning on going into town to check out the gift shops. We'll be back in a couple of hours and get supper started."
There was a scenic country path in the woods that wound around the large pond just down the road from Evey's family home that both Adam and Tom knew well. The snowmelt from early April had filled the pond to a good depth, and the stream that fed it was just beginning to slow to a trickle. The late May sun today was high up and brought its rays deep into the greening woods. The time they spent there ended up being therapeutic for the two city boys and their young guide. Adam showed them where he and his friends had built a fort several years ago, and how it was still standing. Except for one of the sides, which had apparently been destroyed by a large fallen branch, it remained a stalwart edifice.
"Looks like you lost a few rocks here, and oh, I see you have an exit in the back as well," Guy says as he walks around the boys' garrison,
taking hold of the broken branch and sliding it off to one side.
"Those 3 rocks aren't missing. I did it on purpose," Adam says. "It's symbolic. If you count all the stones around the fort, it comes to the prime number 37. That number has special mathematical properties and symmetries. It actually has to do with our genetic code itself, not the genome, the code itself. When you look into it, you can see that it's a code within a code, a kind of combinatorial puzzle, and I like puzzles," Adam says with a sly smile.
Then Tom asks Adam, "Are there any other rock symbols here at the fort?"
"Of course," Adam says, "and they mostly involve examples of Römer's transformations involving codons that have 3 identical bases and 3 unique bases. However, I don't have the time to go over that with you right now. It's just extraterrestrials seeding life here on Earth. Anyway, guys, let's follow the path over here and around the pond. There's lots more to see," Adam says as Tom and Guy follow behind him.
"I guess this kid is pretty smart, huh?" Guy says.
"You don't know the half of it," Tom tells him. "Just spend a little more time with him and he'll have your head spinning,"
Tom says as the cohort of 3 continue through the woods. The women returned from their jaunt into town just a few minutes after the men came back. Bea had put the lasagna in the oven before they left and put the timer on, so the meal was pretty much ready when they got back. Evey had prepared a large bowl of salad with lettuce, tomatoes, cucumbers, onions, and plenty of feta cheese. It was a little after 4 in the afternoon and a little early for supper, but Bea and Evey knew their visitors wanted to leave by 7 to make the 3-hour trip back home to Cambridge and get back by 10 p.m. Everyone got sizable portions of the lasagna and salad, as well as full glasses of wine, and when 6 o'clock arrived, Guy had not had a chance to talk to Evey or vice versa.
"Listen, everyone, it's a beautiful evening. We've got a spare bedroom upstairs, and Tom and Sarah can have the sleeper sofa, so why not stay the night and leave early tomorrow?" Evey suggests. "We'll have a little more wine and play some games. How's that?"
After some thought, and a call to the babysitters back at home, the 4 of them agree to do just that. "My kids are already having a sleepover at the neighbors," Guy says, as Tom gets on the phone with his eldest child and lets her know they are staying here overnight.
"I'll get the fire going," Tom says, as he begins loading smaller twigs under the logs he was stacking upright within the stone fire pit. When the fire begins to throw some warmth, Guy asks Evey join him there to talk about the conference and, of course, Mr. Rothmann. That was Tom's cue to step away and give Evey and Guy some privacy. "Hey guys, time for a game of horseshoes?" Tom asks, as he and Adam brush off the horseshoes still covered with dirt from the last game. After taking a couple more sips of wine, both Sarah and Marcia join in the game as well.
There was plenty of lighting in the backyard due to the string of party lights Evey had installed around the area. Now that the visitors did not have to make the long drive back home, Bee refilled their wine glasses for another round of country relaxation. Guy and Evie now take their seats near the growing fire, and Bee goes inside the house to put some things away after their meal. So, Evie, you had a chance to meet one of the most influential, and I might add feared, men in the world. I'm curious to know what your impression of him was. I mean, what stayed in your mind after meeting him? I'm asking you, because usually women are pretty good at picking up on the little things that guys don't even notice. What impression did he leave you with? Guy asks her, as he slowly pulls out a small notepad from his shirt pocket and then clicks on his pen, apparently preparing to write down what she tells him. Well, I guess I saw two sides of him, Evie says as she looks into the flames. Well, first of all, he's certainly good-looking, greying, well-spoken, and some might say he's, charming, I guess you'd say. However, I also got the feeling he was really uncomfortable while he was there at the conference. Oh, he had kind of a nervous habit of jiggling his heel up and down, like this, as Evie quickly imitates the way he did it, while tapping her own heel. He was very nice to me, though. He seemed truly interested in me. He asked where I came from, and if I was from around here. However, that may have been because I helped him out of a bad situation that day. Evie explains, as though it was no big deal. What kind of bad situation could you possibly have helped him out of, Evie? As Guy sits back in his chair, crosses his leg, and thinks to himself, let's get the details, there could be a story here. Well, Evie says, wondering just how much she should reveal about the incident.
Guy, you're not going to run a story on what I'm telling you, are you? I mean, I got the impression that Stan absolutely did not want anyone at the conference that day to find out about it. It was no big deal, really. I found Stan on the floor in the hallway by his suite. At first, it looked like he had passed out or something and was just coming to. So I helped him get back up and into his room, that's all. He asked me not to say anything about it. He said it was just a panic attack and kind of pleaded with me not to say anything.
So what I'm telling you must remain confidential, please. Evie stresses forcefully.
Wow, Guy says as he leans forward in the Adirondack chair and turns towards the group playing horseshoes.
Certainly not expecting to hear what Evie would say next.
There was an incident that occurred at the conference on the day Stan gave his speech. Anyways, that's what I heard from Ricky, who was still in the kitchen when it happened. I didn't witness it myself. Ricky said that Stan and another man had a shoving match during his speech. A couple of men in the audience had to actually step in and break it up.
Evie figures she should probably tell Guy about the fight in order to explain why it was that Stan had the panic attack. So, did this guy in the kitchen hear what Stan was talking about during his speech? Guy asks, like a true journalist. I really don't know, because apparently Ricky was in the wine cellar stocking bottles when they gave the order to leave the hotel. When he got back up into the kitchen, he realized all the doors were locked and there were guards stationed all around. So he decided to wait it out. That's when he heard the commotion and saw Stan and another man through the door's window grabbing and pushing each other. A couple of the tables got knocked over as well. Evie thinks about how what she had overheard from the upstairs grate might have somehow factored in as a reason for the fight. Nevertheless, Evie had no intention at all of telling Guy about some of the outlandish things she had overheard Stan talk about. She decides, I've probably already told him too much as it is.
I'd really like to talk to this guy, Ricky. Do you think that would be possible?
No way. If anyone at the hotel finds out I talked to you about this, I would lose my job there, and I cannot afford that. Remember, what I'm telling you must be kept completely confidential. Guy, you promise me, right?
Guy could see the concern on Evie's face and tells her,
I promise I will not ever publish this unless you agree to it. However, I could print the story and say it came from a confidential source. Would you agree to that?
Guy asks, hoping that suggestion would make it more acceptable to Evie.
No, certainly not. Stan would know right away it was me. I could not betray him like that, especially after he gave me that $5,000 tip.
Evie decides right then and there to forego telling Guy anything of what she had accidentally overheard Stan talk about in his speech.
Stan was nothing but nice to me that day. He certainly didn't have to give me that huge tip, just for my helping him get up and back into his room.
And so, reluctantly, Guy agrees with her. Nevertheless, Guy understood full well the importance of Evie's helping hand in Rothmann's situation that day. He decides it's now time to change the subject.
Just one more question, Evie. Why do you refer to Mr. Rothmann as Stan? Did he tell you to call him Stan?
Guy asks, wanting to see her reaction.
Honestly, I can't remember. I think at one point he did tell me to call him Stan.
Evey says, looking a bit perplexed. Guy didn't want to spook Evey any further, thinking that maybe he could get more out of her later. His instincts told him she knew more than what she was telling him tonight.
Now, Evey, Tom tells me that you have a favor to ask me, and since you have answered my questions, what can I do for you?
Guy asks her while attempting to give Evey his full attention. Evey could not help but blurt out her next sentence.
I need help getting Adam into a good school for next year. His teachers say he'll be wasting his time in our local high school. Adam has been evaluated with a very, very high IQ, and I want him to be able to go to the kind of school worthy of his abilities. We've applied to the prep school in Wolfboro, but they want some muckety-muck to give him a recommendation. I've tried calling our state reps, but they haven't gotten back to me yet. Do you know anyone like that?
Guy leans back in his chair and says,
Well, let me think. I could speak to the CEO of the paper. As far as I know, he will be at the next monthly review meeting. I know the paper gives out scholarships to kids. Do you have a copy of his grades here?
Evey eagerly shakes her head, yes.
Then I'll talk to the main guy by the end of next week and we'll see what he can do. How's that, Evey?
Wonderful.
Evey says, prompting her to go over to Guy and give him a kiss on the cheek.
Hey, what the hell's going on over here?
Tom asks as he comes over to check on the two of them.
Guy's going to speak to the paper's CEO and see if he can vouch for Adam at the prep school.
Evey tells him with a note of hopeful enthusiasm.
Okay, good. So now that we have that settled, Guy, you're up for the next game at the Horseshoe Pit. Let's go, my man. Stop lounging around.
As soon as Guy joins Tom at the game, Evey starts regretting what she had revealed to Guy about what had gone on at the conference that day. Nevertheless, she tells herself that she did what she had to do. We'll see if Guy can get us anywhere with the prep school, she wonders, as she watches the boys walk off to play the next round. Now that she had finished her interview with Guy, the women decide to come over and sit with Evey. Adam had already brought the chocolate and marshmallows out to melt by the fire.
Want a s'more, Aunt Evey?
Adam asks as he tries to hand one over to her.
Not right now, honey. I'm still drinking my wine. Maybe after.
Evey says as Adam gladly devours it himself.
Anyone else want a s'more? I'll make it.
Adam volunteers, but there were no takers.
We'll have some later when the men finish their game, but thank you anyway, Adam.
Tom was ahead in the game, but not by much. Every accurate horseshoe clang grabbed their attention and elicited cheers from the group. Adam was getting ready to play next, and now so was Marcia, Sarah, and Evey. The sun had just set after 8 p.m., and it was still comfortable outside, especially next to the fire. Tom was the winner, and he and Guy were ready for a refill as the new game started up. As Tom tops off both their wine glasses, Guy says,
I can't believe what Evey told me about Rothmann.
Exactly what do you mean? What happened?
Well, I don't think Evey realizes it, but she could have played a part in keeping Rothmann in power.
What? How in the world could that be?
Then, as Guy takes his next sip, he says,
Well, I'll tell you how that be. Rothmann apparently had some kind of meltdown at the conference, like a panic attack, and passed out near his room. Evey helped him come to and get his wits about him before anyone found out what had happened. As a matter of fact, our paper had gotten a tip that the lodge was hosting a Bretton Woods type of conference that weekend. Rothmann was apparently going to be there to defend his position as their leader. We had actually sent someone up there to try and get some photos, but the place was totally locked up with armed guards and everything. I wish I would have known that Evey was going to be working the place that day. I just don't know whether I could have gotten her to spy for us, probably not. I get the feeling, though, that she knows more than what she's telling me.
Guy laments, still wishing he could publish what he knew already.
I don't think you'll get her to tell you anything more, now that she's got that big dollar tip from Rothmann. I wouldn't be surprised if Rothmann considered his gratuity a cheap payoff, if you know what I mean.
I hope I can get that reference from my boss. Then I might be able to get Evey to open up a little more about what else she might have seen or heard that day. Anyway, Tom, if she tells you anything else, let me know, okay?
Sure thing.
And then the two of them place a bet on which of the women will win the game.